ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade?
I'm Jasmin.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that. That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it.
I'm Mells.
I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute. And if you're watching TV,
I love it. Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing.
That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay.
Buying 2 of everything, so I always have some to share. I'm Jay.
And pausing in the right spot for Jeff's butt, I'm Mells.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV's Yellowjackets rewatch.
This week we're covering Season 1, Episode 2. Now let the book club begin.
Yes. Here.
We're here. Oh, order.
Order, all ye book club attendants. Attendances. Yes, sure. We'll go with that. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this is very exciting. Yellowjackets rewatch. More exciting is that, I mean, it probably won't seem this way to listeners / viewers now, but Mel's and I actually haven't recorded together in a long time, like just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
Just the two of us. I feel like it's been since the 3-year recording. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah. So, that's probably why I can't think of the word attendees. I'm a little rusty. But before we get into this rewatch, we should probably outline a few things, because if you're new for whatever reason and you listen to our coverage for episode 1 of Yellowjackets, that will definitely feel a lot different than the rest of our coverage moving forward. You probably figured it out from the beginning of the episode or from the show notes that was originally meant for our Patreon people. So this, we tried to do kind of a spoiler-free section and then a spoiler-full section, but these episodes moving forward are all spoilers. We're not going to hold back. We've done that whole thing before with Twin Peaks. We kind of just want to be able to speak freely in this rewatch.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen all of Yellowjackets, apologies. You should, and you want to, I guess, then you should go watch. Come back later. We'll still be here. Yeah. So I guess for these episodes, we're gonna give a summary of the episode just in case you're not watching along, you want to catch up. We'll do overall thoughts, and then we're just gonna chat about whatever kind of really piqued our interest during the episodes. We're not gonna do a scene by scene or anything like that. So kind of just loosey goosey. And yeah, I guess the only other thing to say is that you could be watching us right now. We are doing more video podcasts, or at least that's our intention for the new year. So we're trying out a new recording system right now. So we're not sure how it'll turn out. It's a test. Hopefully it's great.
Yes. And I think it will be. So
I think so too. It's looking good on our end right now. So we can only hope for the best. But
that's
right. Those are my announcements. I don't know. Announcements for the attendees. Have you got anything? Yes. Did I cover it all?
No, I think you hit all the high notes of what we need to get through at the top of the pod. So
excellent. Well, now that we have all that bullshit out of the way, let's buzz or whatever. Do you want to do the summary or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I would love to do it.
Hit us with that summary.
Okay, episode 2 is F sharp. Back in 96, the teens get their bearings amongst the wreckage, where Misty's 2-time Red Cross babysitter training really comes in handy. In the present day, there's awkward dates, meet cute fender benders, and sex homework. The big questions are, who sent the postcard? What does the symbol mean? Who is the lady in the tree? And was Tabitha ever able to return her armoire?
That's a big question for me. What a cliffhanger.
Something
I
tells
think
me
she got the king size bed. But
I was about to say, I think she traded up.
She did a store exchange. She brought back the armoire and took on the king size bed.
That's
nice.
Right. She did a
way
credit.
To go, Tabitha. Way to go.
Way to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll dive in with some overall thoughts then. So,
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was a great episode. All the stuff in the beginning was so intense, and everything in 96 in general was like really well, it was really intense. The pacing was really great. Like I already know what happens, but it's not nervous. It's not a nervous feeling, but it's like, oh my God, there's so much shit going on. How are these teen girls even handling it? Like it's giving me a little bit of anxiety, but in the way that you want with a television show, you know?
Yeah.
So that kept things moving really nicely. I noticed that I'm seeing both Shauna and Jackie in a different light, and mostly Shauna from the present day storyline, and obviously Jackie from 96. But so that's been interesting. I love all the character development that we get from Misty in this episode. So much of her stuff is so great. We get that iconic line from Nat. Hello, Misty, you crazy fucking bitch.
Yes.
So good. And I guess like the one thing that I struggled with a little bit was the Thai stuff in the present day.
Yeah.
It just didn't grip me the same way the other stuff does. And I'm wondering if it's because the biggest thing there was like the lady in the tree. And we already know what's going to come of that.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe having the answer to that mystery, I mean, that's going to be exciting when we get there and that leads to other stuff, but it just wasn't as like front and center for me. But other than
Sure.
that, it's a fun episode.
Oh, definitely. Well, it's funny you mentioned, I mean, I have the pace of the episode was perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
what I love about this show, and I'm going to be honest, I mean, it's been almost a year since we watched
Yeah.
it. So, yes, while I know pretty much all the overall like major things, there are just some things that had slipped my mind and
Yeah.
or the way that it happened, etc. And so it was very exciting to watch it again and know what's coming, but not exactly if it's this episode next, whatever.
Yeah.
But the one thing that the show does very well is the pace, and I love it's an effortless and seamless like transition from past to present. Um,
Yes.
I like it's just done so well, and it's not clunky, and it's very hard. I've watched some things recently where there was some past okay, fine, I'll just say it, like the latest season of American Horror Story. Like,
Oh,
they had some past scenes, and they tried to, integrate it into some of the present, and it felt very disjointed, and none of that is in this show. Like, I appreciate it so much more
yeah.
ever since I've seen some things since I watched it the first time, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like now I'm like, "Oh, that is done very well." So thank you for that. I enjoyed seeing the juxtaposition between the teen girls and the adults. So I mean, the things with teen Shauna versus adult Shauna, and I agree with you. Like I especially felt more connected to Shauna and understood her more on this watch. She's very relatable. And I think the first time through, I was really hyper focused on Jackie because she was obviously so absent from present day. And so the big
Right.
thing was like, okay, Jackie, like I got to know what's going on with Jackie. Watching it now, I'm like, gosh, Shauna is super relatable. I mean, I don't have a teenage child yet, but I mean, just when you've been in a marriage for so long or a partnership and like kind of the
Mhm.
ups and downs that you go through. And I mean, the line from the therapist where she's like, the marriage starts here, but it dies here. I was like, oh no, death
Ugh,
by vagina.
right?
Oh,
Yeah. No, death by
but
dick, let's face it.
yeah, no, that's right. It's the D by DBD, Death by Dick. But no, she just felt so much more relatable, and I kind of felt aggravated with her, maybe a little bit like first watch, and like this time I was like, whoa, this got a whole different vibe for Shauna. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not alone in that I was so curious about Jackie and I was so drawn to Jackie for some reason. And this time through, I mean,
almost one of my first notes about her is like she is so self-absorbed. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how I did not see this on the first time through. Like
Yeah.
I guess there's so much going on, and yeah, you're right. Like where is she in 2021? So that makes her kind of, I don't know, that maybe doesn't that maybe like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you can't focus on it because you're so curious about where she is.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Well, I one of the characters I really wanted to talk about is Misty.
Oh, yeah.
So should we dive into Misty a little bit?
You
Weird.
know
Let's not
what?
dive into her, but
Well, let's dive into her because listen, I I love Misty. Okay. I loved her the first time around. This time I'm feeling so drawn to her much more than last time. I mean, I love adult Missy mainly because it's Christina Ricci and I love
yes.
her, but
Yeah.
the audacity of adult adult and teen Missy, but really the audacity of adult Missy, like we don't even by the end of the first season know how they're going to get out of the, like woods, how are they saved, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, it feels like she didn't really learn much, and I guess that's going to play into like what role are we going to see Missy play in, as they advance further down, into the Antler Queen territory and whatnot. But all that aside, that scene where Beverly or whoever it was, I don't forget the name, called and they did all that mean stuff to her. I was like, this is fucked up
Oh,
and I hate
yeah.
this. I mean, I
Yeah.
hated it last time, don't get me wrong. But like this time around, I was like, don't fuck with Misty. I'm tired of this. And I
Well,
think it's because I know, like, I think a lot of this is going to be based on we know the development of Misty throughout the series at this point, right? Because this is
right.
our rewatch. So I'm like super more pissed off because I'm like, leave Misty alone. And like my Brittany, like leave Brittany alone. Leave Misty alone.
I know. I feel like we go on such a journey with Misty in this episode because that opening bit really is meant to endear her to us.
Right.
Like these kids on the phone are so mean to her, and I think most of us can relate to a time in our lives when, or maybe a lot, maybe not all of us, but maybe some of us, whatever. We might have had that experience where we're getting bullied and we really like we decide to just sort of get rid of anything that makes us unique because we want to assimilate and we want
Mhm.
people to stop picking on us for being different. We just want to be like everybody else. And yet Misty, she stays so much herself in telling them that quote and not like giving into what they're saying. And it made me so sad that kids have to go through that whole thing of like you just want to shine your light and like be authentic, and all these kids want to fucking just smush it out and make you be like them and be little shits to you and
Yeah.
fucking kids.
I
And so
listen.
I felt so bad for her in that moment, and then yet like by the end of the episode, you're like, Misty, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
And from
yeah.
what we see in the 2021 plot, it's like she's clearly become very manipulative. This situation in the woods made her realize the way that she could be accepted was through being needed and was through being important in these ways. I mean, why do you think she became a nurse? Like these
Exactly.
are the people she has put herself into a situation where people will need her all the
Rely
time.
on her. Yes.
Like it gives her
Yes.
some sense of belonging and purpose, and and she does a lot of great things in the 96 plot. Like she shows up for these girls and she does what needs to be done. And even if it's only babysitter training, she knows more than all of these girls
Any
combined.
of them.
Yeah, she
Yes.
is like making sure they survive past these few first hours. So
Yeah.
you got to give her credit there, but she has definitely become such a manipulative person. And like that date scene, I was I was a little taken aback at first because I was like, how do you look at Christina Ricci and even pretend that you don't want to hang out with her? Because
Right.
she's fucking gorgeous. But that must mean that Misty is such a terrible person, so crazy, so manipulative that it's like not even worth it for that.
I mean, not even like she listed all of his traits, and I'm like, what guy wouldn't want a female, or like someone like that they're on a date with, like opposite them, like saying, "I'm looking for calves, I'm looking for a mustache, I'm looking for," and even then that guy was like, "We know, like he doesn't want another drink, he doesn't want to order dinner," and it is just. And the way that she really manipulates him in the car, which is like,
Oh,
you don't think I'm pretty. I mean, like, I
yeah.
laugh at it's you. Yes, you do. You are taken aback by it, but I also laugh at it because I'm like, I'm sure that I've done that plenty of times. Like to Scott, where I'm like, oh, really? You think that they're prettier than me? Like, oh,
Right?
what?
I
Like,
think we've
yes,
all done this type of manipulation on a certain level,
yeah,
but then it escalates to where she absolutely fucked with Nat's car so
oh,
she
God,
could pull
yeah,
up and be the savior that has the car to still take them on this little road trip,
that's right.
right? And if
Why
it's
does she
not
have two
clear,
copies?
it, well, she always buys 2 of everything. That way she always has time to
Right.
share, okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's not obvious in that moment, then the fact that they cut to the scene of her fucking with the recording box or whatever it's
The
called, like,
transmitter, yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious where Misty has got, but I love the way that the 2 plot lines intertwine that way. Like, we
Yeah.
start out really caring for her and feeling sorry for her, or looking at her and being like, wow, she's really showing up. She's really doing all this great stuff, to like, oh no, where are we going with Misty? Like, it's almost like a villain origin story or something.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the anti-hero, but
Yes,
man,
yes.
it's funny because you have conflict that I would assume you feel this way too, just the conflicting feelings because like we just said, I mean, listen, she saved Coach Ben's life. Let's just be
She
honest with
sure
it.
did.
Because
Yes.
if she hadn't have cut that man's leg off, he would have died. And so you're like, man, you're like a hero, but you're not. So like, what's going on?
That's a good point. Yes. I mean, but she was the only one brave enough to do what needed to be done. And I
And
guess
wasn't
sometimes that's not
panicked.
always the best not that they're not the best person, but like maybe that's not always your favorite person.
Exactly. They're a
Yeah.
little more like, yeah, like the emotion is removed. And so that can be very confusing, I think, if you see someone that, because honestly, it's also like, I want to say a read the room situation, but it's like when she did get the phone call from the classmate, and the classmate was like, all that bad stuff, and then she gives him the quote from Plato. And it's like she in that moment she doesn't think it's fucking weird, but then when the person on the other end is like, "You're so fucking weird," then she's like, "What?" And so yeah, it's oh
I loved
gosh,
that innocence in that moment though too.
I
Like,
know.
I wish she could have just stayed innocent.
Yeah, I know.
Because it is really, I mean, I think the biggest problem, I don't care if she's manipulating dudes to come inside to her house for a drink. That really doesn't bother me. Maybe it should, based on what else we know about Misty. I mean, her ethics are a little questionable, but destroying the recording thing
Now
was
that's
that's fucked
bitch
up.
you out of line. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that we can really fault her for and say, like, you really fucked everybody by doing that.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, how different things could have been. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely setting up, I mean, I don't know that anybody wasn't like, okay, what I was gonna say is I feel like Misty's experience being in these woods empowered and emboldened her and like gave her a new life direction and sense of purpose. Whereas for all the other girls and women, I assume that it was a fucking tragedy
Right.
and weighs heavily on them all the time. That said, they were probably also very likely empowered in certain ways,
Mhm.
but I don't think this was a bad time for Misty. Like, I think
No.
the other women might look back on it and be like, that was a really fucked up time that I wish had never happened. And Misty was like, listen, when do you guys want to go back for the reunion?
Right. Misty's like, y'all are my BFFs.
Yeah.
Okay. We shared so much together. Well,
So
meanwhile,
many
everybody else,
memories.
yeah. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, we don't let anyone know we talk. Dun dun dun.
Right?
You know?
So it's just interesting to see that juxtaposition of how how she grew and changed out of that experience and how everybody else did in a different direction.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, what else do you want to chat about?
Uh I guess not. I mean, I guess nothing else. Like you mean concerning Misty, right?
No, whatever else. Like I'm good on Misty.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I just thought we could go to our next point, which is just the like Shauna and Jeff. Do you want to
Sure.
move into
Yeah.
that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Listen, Jeff is fucking hot. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay, wait.
sorry.
Before we get any further though, we have to do this. Jeff or Adam?
I think Jeff. I don't like Adam. Okay.
I think Adam's way hotter.
Well, perhaps, but I don't. He's very cocky. I I
Mhm.
guess like I want to be like, did you not clock the wedding ring on her? Like, come on, like I don't. And obviously, we know where this goes, but I mean, like, just in the moment with this episode, I was like, dude, fuck off. Like, I don't like if I had gotten into a fender bender like that, and it was just the beginning stages, like this is with Shauna or whatever, I would be like, no, even if your relationships, whatever, I don't know. I just would have approached it very differently with Adam, but I feel like because he was so like, I don't want to say pushy, but I mean, he was just like so into it with her that, I guess it would be easy for someone showing her attention because it's obvious
Yeah.
that she and Jeff are not in a very good spot right now. They're in counseling. They're in dire straits as far as the dead vagina penis type thing. And so it's just like, okay, this guy is showing, but I just feel like we know it's ulterior motives with him, and I just don't. I'm looking at him different this time
I
around for
actually don't remember exactly how things turn out with Adam. I mean, I know his like
fake.
final fate, but I don't remember all the ins and outs of how we get there. And I think you're right. Like the big part of it here is that this probably feels very exciting for Shauna.
Yeah.
Even like the writing the numbers on the arm, I feel like that was, it's not you can't one for one it with doing a fantasy role play sex thing with your husband, but it's like more exciting than that because I guess it's like spontaneous and it's somebody outside of the relationship paying attention to you and it wasn't something that your therapist assigned you for homework. So there is just something about that, and then the fact that he calls back like the next day. And yeah, I mean, just removing anything that we might know about him, I feel like that is just very attractive to Shauna. Somewhere where she
Sure.
doesn't have to pretend that she's somebody that she's not. Because I think she's doing a lot of pretending at home. And I never picked up on that the first time around.
Yeah, yeah. In that vein, with writing the numbers on the arm, it felt very, I don't want to say immature, but it felt very high schoolish in a
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
And that probably, and I think it's a manipulative tactic on Adam's part, knowing that he's leading Shauna on, but it felt like it was the right thing for him to tap into with Shauna because I mean, this tragedy did happen to her and the others that survived. But it was like in a formative part of high school for them and their life. And so it's not surprising that it might be hard for her to move out of that. And so she'd be attracted to someone that's using those like more immature tactics or like more young tactics, right? Versus if you're just like, all right, I know you're gonna yell at me if I ask for your phone, but let's exchange numbers. Like I would be more apt to that than like, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't have like unless I had a tragedy, maybe where it stunted me mature wise. or
Yeah.
maturity-wise.
Yeah,
So,
I think there's definitely something there. And, like,
yeah.
she's tried to hang out with Callie. Callie's a teenager now and doesn't wanna hang out with her mom. Jeff has this inventory business. Like, nobody is giving her a good goddamn, and it's like, this guy wants to write on her arm. Okay, cool.
Well, and Jeff, honey, he's dumber than a sack of rocks. And
Woo!
wait a minute, is it sack of potatoes or bag of rocks? It doesn't matter.
You can
He's
mishmash them.
he's dumber than both of those things. And so it's like, Jeff, sweetie, oh my gosh, you better be glad that your bod is so tight and your butt is so firm
It
because
is so
otherwise,
tight. It is so tight. Yes.
like when he did like get down to his skivvies and he did that little underwear pop. All right, just full
Whoo!
controversial yet brave. That underwear pop will get like I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's the era that I grew up in. Like this is what the guys were doing because this would be around
Yes.
my age, a
Yes.
little bit older. But like when he did that, I was like, okay, whew, Jeff,
Brought you back.
turn the heat down. Yeah, I can't take this.
I know, there was something so confident about it. Like, I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. It's like maybe he still has the confidence of like he's
Yeah.
still in high school, even though I guess he does kind of still look that way, like in some weird way. But yeah, age doesn't seem to have to have gotten to him like
Nope.
maybe the rest of us.
I mean, I don't know if it's weird because I don't know how old the teenage actors are, but, like, teenage Jeff, not hot.
Not hot.
He's not going on my MASH, like, no
No
way.
way.
Mm-mm.
Adult Jeff could
Adult Jeff?
get
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Yes. But so the dinner scene where she tells them that she has made them rabbit because fucking Callie doesn't know how to take meat out of the goddamn freezer. Why? Okay, so they say, "Oh, well, geez, you're in a mood. Oh, you're so weird." Maybe, but I feel like that is who Shauna really is,
Yeah,
and they just don't understand her, I guess. But also, I'm irritated because it's like she knows what she's doing,
right.
and you both know that she knows what she's doing.
That was
Like,
irritating to
it's
me
not
as
a
well.
secret that your mother and your wife spent that time in the wilderness. What do you think she did? Ate fucking berries every day?
Right.
She obviously learned how to fend for herself. So shut up and eat the fucking rabbit because which one of you cooked dinner? Oh, right. Neither of you?
Right. I mean, one of you couldn't even be bothered to take the damn meat out of the
One of
refrigerator.
you doesn't
So,
even know what a freezer is.
oh
Had to
my
be explained
gosh,
to you.
that was great too. And she's like, what does it look like? I'm
She's like, "Are you
really,
at home?" I don't know. Oh, do you not know how being at home works?
I know. Oh my God. I'm looking forward to, because like you said, I also can't recall everything. See, like the biggest things that stick out of my mind are like present day things, and then like what happens with Jackie in the past, and then the Antler Queen things, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see these scenes between Shauna and Adam again, and between Shauna and Jeff, and with her own daughter,
Yeah.
because a lot of that stuff kind of got pushed to the back of my mind because,
Yeah.
I was either obsessed with what was going on with Jackie or, you know, is she in present day or not? Is she in hiding? Like who this symbol, this club, like whatever else comes up, in the future in the season. So
Yeah. I'm really enjoying I was gonna say I'm really well, how do I put this? I'm glad that it's not as cut and dry as Jeff and Shauna are having problems, and so she's just gonna go and fuck someone else. Like, they obviously are having problems, but I still think that Jeff and Shauna have a good dynamic. It's just not as like they still have a spark, but it's not as sparky as it used to be.
well, and honestly, knowing, what we know about their story, it's almost like did they ever really get a chance to get to really know each other before they were married and had Callie and whatnot? You know what I mean? So it's almost kind
Yeah.
of like after 25 years, and or however long it's been, but based on the wedding photo that you see in this one, it's
They
young
were young,
Shauna.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, like you start to think, well, I mean, you're young and Shauna's been through a tragedy. I mean, Jeff had gone through it too, because I mean, these were his classmates and everything like that. So he wasn't physically there, but there was turmoil, I'm sure, for him as well with losing people that he knew. So it was a big tragedy for this class. And so that can bring two people together, but like so far
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
future, how does that translate, you know?
yeah. I know. I'm interested because I feel like I started liking Jeff even more as the season went through. So I'm interested to see how long that takes this time around. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right. So what was next? Is it the Laura Lee and the
Oh,
confessions around the
yes.
campfire? This was a total standout moment for me. Oh God, I hate the idea that Laura Lee and so many young people are brought up to believe that because they swore at somebody and even
That
just
it
in their
causes.
brains that they could cause a massive plane crash and that they would be solely responsible for the lives of so many. What a weight to carry, what a guilt to carry. I fucking hate that about religion so much. Like, that is just garbage nonsense. And I'm so glad that she shared, like, I'm glad she felt safe enough to share this with these girls because the result is such a beautiful thing. I mean, the fact that they laugh at her, I think she gets it that it was just like, okay, that was silly. You're right. I can't be totally responsible for this. There's a tension relief, there's a release of some of that guilt. They all needed that in that moment, that laugh. Like, what a fucking day it's been. But
Yeah.
then to follow it up with, we only get to hear a couple of them, but the other girls saying like crazy secret shit that they do, it felt like such a beautiful moment between these girls.
It really did. I mean, I love that. I also really kind of love that it was Laura Lee that started it for them because she's
Yeah.
so innocent and everything that you just said, right? Like she's probably holding also this tremendous like guilty feeling, like you just said, like she somehow inadvertently caused this inadvertently.
Yeah.
But what I love is that, they're like, well, whatever. Like, I steal clothes from TJ Maxx and I take it back for store credit. And I've got like thousands of TJ bucks now. Or like, well, Jackie, when she was like, I pause it, at that part and the
Jackie's
color.
little secret wasn't that bad, if we're
No,
being
I mean,
honest.
honestly, like, I was like, Jackie, that's all you could come up with. I mean, whatever.
Jackie, that's
So.
like something that all people that are interested in seeing butt and dick are gonna do.
Any
Like,
body part. I mean, I'm going to zone in on that body part that I am seeking out in that moment. So,
yep.
but that,
But it
like,
was so Jackie, right? Like that was such a Jackie
exactly.
admission. Yeah.
But that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, what we just said, like, it's hard to not see Jackie as so self absorbed now because even her little secret, like, it started. And to be honest, yeah, if I was Van, I'd be really super pissed if they left me. But I don't fault Jackie because at the same, like on the same wavelength, like what do you do to save like yourself and your friend, right? So I don't think it was like anything personal against Van. However, like
Yeah.
when Van is like, "How about this sea breeze?" and she's like, "Ah, that's a very good idea," but
That
like
was
so.
the telling moment. That was
That
the
was
very
the
telling
telling
moment.
moment. And then, like, you've
Yes.
got poor Laura Lee, who's so religious, and she's like, "I called her a cunt," like,
But
it
just in my
just
head.
but just in my head, not out loud. And then, like, Jackie's gonna come up and say, like, she's gonna be so Tatum from Scream, where she's like, "If you pause it in the right spot," and I'm like, "Okay, right, like,
Yes.
whatever." I think
Yeah,
Lottie's is the best, or Charlotte. Sorry, it'll come back around that I'll start using her proper name again. But I mean, I think Charlotte's Lottie's was the best, though, to be honest with you, because it was the look on her face where she was like, fine, I guess I'll just go ahead and admit that I have got thousands of TJ bucks. So if we ever make it out of here, TJ Maxx trip on me,
On me.
on me.
Well, I was gonna say, if speaking of like calling somebody a cunt, but only in your head, I don't know if you, dear lovely listeners and viewers, if you've been saying nice words about Damn Fine TV, but only in your head, maybe it's time to say those nice words on your podcast app of choice, in a review, in a rating. You could dingle dangle sprinkle sprangle those stars. You could come and tell the world how you feel about Damn Fine TV, because we would love to hear it. And if you want to say cunt, I guess go for it. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you what to write in the review, only that it would be lovely for you to bring all the thoughts from your brain onto the screen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you know what? Like, cunt them our way. It's like punt, but it's cunt. Okay.
yes, please cunt
If you
them our
wa-
way.
Yes. If you
That's our
want
new
more
slogan.
wonderful puns like that, you can find us on socials. So the show is at Damn Fine TV on Instagram. You can find me at Superficial Mells.
And you can find me at Damn Fine Witch. And you can also find me at patreon.com/damnfinetv. You can find Mel's there too, I promise.
Yeah.
We hang out at Patreon and do lots of fun stuff. So, for example, this video right here is going to get super duper early access for our Bookhouse Babes. By the time the free feed sees this, the Bookhouse Babes will be like, how long ago was that? Like, that's time travel. I don't even remember when I saw episode 2. Because Bookhouse Babes get all the best stuff. We also have like a Discord server. We do monthly hangouts. We've got this one tier that's called Only Ceiling Fans, and that's for our big Twin Peak heads, where we meet once a month and just chat about random topics from Twin Peaks, so that we can always keep that conversation alive. And yeah, lots of other stuff. Check it out, patreon.com/damnfinetv. But for now, let's get back to Yellowjackets.
Buzz, buzz.
I feel like we were the closest we've ever been on those 2 buzzes right there.
Honestly, yeah, and I'll take it.
Yeah, so I don't know, any other thoughts about that little fireside chat, or I've got
No,
some
it was
questions for
just
you, so
oh, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say it was just so wholesome, and like you said,
yeah.
I know it was, like, this big, deep, like, sigh of not relief, but just, like, getting all of this, like,
A
so much
little
has
bit of a
happened.
sigh of relief, I think. Yeah, just
Sure.
relieving some of that tension from the day, right?
Yeah, and it was just really wholesome to see them around a fire, laughing and being their age because I mean, surviving a tragedy like this and doing the things that they've had to do. I mean, all the first aid and then covering up the folks that had not made it, that were still in the plane, and then
Yeah.
obviously Travis's dad, like, seeing him up in the tree, and so all of these things, like, it was
Whew.
very yeah, it was very nice to see them just kind of be in their age and having a laugh, and so it was super
Yeah.
wholesome for
Yes.
me.
Yeah. I think they really needed it, and they're not gonna get a lot of that moving forward, so
No, so it was a very good time.
yes. I was actually really surprised to see that a lot of them were able to fall asleep, but I was like, "Good for you girls. You need this. Get your
I bet it
rest."
was just exhaustion, like,
Yeah,
when you get to the
probably.
point of, like, so much adrenaline having been pumped through you, I bet it
Yeah.
was just like, my body needs like, your
Yeah.
body
They
just goes to
voice.
sleep.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
also didn't have, like, social media to just endlessly scroll through to keep them awake for some reason, so, that's a
Kindle
plus.
Kindles to keep them alive at night. No, awake at night, reading books, like all of that.
Nope. Kinda nice. They're just on a camping trip, basically. It's no
There
big
you
deal.
go. Yeah.
Okay, well, we already started kind of talking about this a little bit. So, Jackie is definitely a bitch. I think we can say that. Like, she's pretty self-absorbed. She's not that great of a person. She's a teen
No.
girl who's popular and pretty, so, like, that always goes to your head. But how much of a bitch is she? Because, like, I think I believe her when she says she was trying to save Shauna. Now, I think that might have been a little narrow-minded of her. I think she was trying to save Shauna because Shauna is what matters to her, and
Right.
Van doesn't matter to her, when
Sure.
for anybody else in that situation, I think they would have been like, "We have to try to save everybody and
Together.
anybody." Like, yeah. Um, but the corn nuts thing, I didn't think Van should have been such a bitch to her in that moment. Like, I thought, they're just corn nuts, but like, it's maybe a good idea to ration your food. I thought that was a decent idea.
I mean, it's a decent idea, but there was a little bit of a bitchy way that Jackie went about it. I mean, it
Okay,
was the it
fair.
was the cutting of the eyes to her. Like, I don't know, maybe we could conserve some of
That's
the
so funny
food.
because I totally read it as her being nervous to say it because she
Oh
knows that
wow.
Van is like
Okay,
not digging her in this moment. But it
very
could be
fair.
either one.
I think it could translate either way. Yeah,
Yeah.
translate.
We're
Oh my
translating
god,
this.
it could translate anyway.
Translate in love, okay?
Okay, it could translate either way. There we go.
Yes, I agree. I'm glad that we saw that differently because that adds kind of a layer to it. But I mean, yes, the sea breeze thing, totally selfish, totally bitchy. So I don't know. I guess, yeah, it's just interesting to see her through a different light this time around. A trans light.
Absolutely. Yes. A cut light. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm
but I
just
do I
joking.
do like her less already on this rewatch. Like,
I mean, same.
I
Yeah,
was such a Jackie stan first time around, and I don't know, maybe I'll get there again, but
maybe. I don't know.
okay, so next question. At the bar, when Misty and Nat are at the bar and we meet Kevin, who's the goth kid, right? Why is Nat so cold to him? Do we know that in the end and I'm just not remembering, or
I honestly don't think so. I don't know if that's just Nat right now. I mean, I know that once he finds out she's kind of using him, I mean, that would give me a reason for him to like then be cold to her. But
right,
no, I don't think so. And I had the same, and it made me wonder if there was something I just wasn't remembering about it, to be
right.
honest, because I know that Travis, oh, whoop, boop, Kevin with a Y, by the way. I know that Kevin is a pretty important, especially in the present day. I mean, I know that he and Nat were besties like back in the day. Um, but I just didn't know if there was something I was not remembering or realizing that transpired between them. But, you know, oh,
It
wait,
was
was
sad.
it? Did they try to get together at one point? But then but then she went with Trap. See, I don't know.
That's
I don't
possible.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't wait to figure that out because something is telling me that there's a smidge of something in there that was alluded to, but I don't.
He's real
I'll,
cute too.
oh, now see,
Ooh.
I like him better than Jeff. Okay.
Better than Jeff? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I agree actually. I mean, Jeff is he's hot, but he's very like, I don't know, he's basic hot.
Well, he's bland. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like classic everyday white, blonde,
White bread.
ripped body.
He is sugar free Jello.
Yeah,
Like
I mean essentially, but like less shaking. There ain't no shake to that Jilla.
there's no shake, but there might be some shaking in between the ears. I so
That's
bad.
where
I'm
all the
so
Jello is, yes.
it's where
Okay,
it's
so
at.
we'll have to watch out to see if we can remember or what transpires between Nat and Kevin. Oh, in 96, when they were looking for something to act as like an alcohol and Van finds the sea breeze, but first they ask if somebody brought contraband. And Nat says that yes, she did, but she doesn't know where her bag is. But later on, she has it. Did she find her bag and I missed it? Or did she lie about always having the booze?
Uh that I don't know either. And I watched this episode twice.
Hmm.
I did notice her with a bag. Um
Okay, so maybe she found the bag.
But it's just why, I mean, maybe they didn't revisit the alcohol thing because they found the sea breeze in the meantime, but
Right.
still feels like, because we got to see Laura Lee find her bag. We got to see Lottie find her bag.
Yes.
Like, why wouldn't we
Right.
see Nat, you
Which
know?
is, I mean, so either it's like, well, we saw enough kids find their bag that it could be implied that Nat found hers, but without telling us that outright, I feel like that's telling us something else because of the comment earlier where she says, well, I don't know where it is.
Right, right.
I totally see Nat as being the kind of person that has it in an inside pocket in her jacket. She's not putting it in her bag.
No, she had it on that plane. I mean, I
She's
don't
having
know
fun on
that,
that plane for
but
sure.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think so. I think that you had it on there. You just don't want
So,
anybody to.
I mean, that's a little shady, but that's, I mean, that's addict tendencies, right? Like, she's not going to share that.
Right,
Except for
right.
maybe with Travis when he's actually dealing with, I guess when it's not going to be used for anything but drinking, she's not going to share.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
save Ben's leg? I don't think so. No,
No. You
no.
can give him a sip of it if you want, but
Yeah, does he need it to feel better? But no, I'm not gonna pour it on his leg. Sorry.
no. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Mm. Okay, so final question, which I don't think anybody can answer, but I just wanted to know, what do you think the symbol is? Like what is it? Is it a girl in a pit? Is it just some random shapes put
Is it a
together?
pirate? I mean, honestly, I
Is it a
know.
crossover with Candle Cove? Like what's
Okay,
happening?
first of all, I'm glad you brought up Candle Cove. You wanna know why?
Oh,
Because
okay.
when he went to turn on the TV, the only thing I could
Yes.
think of was, "Is he watching Candle Cove?" Don't ask me
Yes.
why. There's no indication for that to have been any,
No, but that's like
but
that
I love
perfectly
this
fits
thought
with that.
process.
Yes.
Yeah, of him turning on, like, Candle Cove. But, uh, I don't know. Like, upon first glance, yeah, it does look like the sign for female like you see on bathrooms. There is
Mhm.
a hook. If you were to turn it and not look at it like head first, then sure,
Yep.
they could be hanging there, and then there could be sticks, or like there could be something like through them as if they're getting barbecued. I'm not really sure. But I want to particularly pay a lot more of attention to the symbol and the backstory when we get to the cabin and things like that, because I'm gonna be honest, I glossed over some of that because in the moment, again, I was not that interested in it. I was more interested in the other things that were going on, like with Lottie and Jackie and whatnot. So
Yep.
I'm 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 excited to get back to those parts as well, because I want to make sure that I'm being more cognizant of what we're being given. So right now, it's either the female bathroom figure with a hook for a leg,
Yep.
or it's somebody being hung up.
So it's like a sign like this tree is only for ladies with hooks for legs. If you don't have a hook for a
Right.
leg, get the fuck away from this tree. This is not your
Unfortunately,
peeing tree.
bathrooms were not where we are now. So, like, back then, it
No.
was like,
Yeah.
if you are not
Whew.
specifically this, forget it.
Yeah, you
Don't
have to
use
find
this
the
tree.
right tree for you. Yeah.
That's right.
But you know what? I say like just fuck that. Trees for everybody.
What's that
You
noise?
can't hold
Yeah.
back the tree. Come on.
Trees for anyone
Can't
and
gatekeep
everyone.
this tree. Get out of here.
I don't see anybody around here with a hook for a leg, so this is null and void.
It does. I feel like it looks like different things from different angles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It really does.
I'm also really excited to pay closer attention to that too, because even though I knew, based just on all the discussions that we had while the show was airing and the few episodes that we did do, like the Instagram live and then that episode with Coral way back, I knew that the symbol was there before the girls, but I had conveniently forgotten about that, I suppose. So when it showed up in this episode, I was like, oh, right. So they
Mhm.
just like, why did they, attach themselves to the symbol? How did it become important to them? That's so much more interesting than them coming up with this symbol. Cause it's like, are there
Yeah.
other people out in these woods? Like, who
Mhm.
made these symbols and why why do they adopt them in that way? Why does it now mean something to them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's one of the many things I'm looking forward to in this rewatch as well.
Yes. Well, is there anything, I mean, that was my last question, so I don't know if you have any questions.
I'm just looking over my notes here. The only thing I want to say is like I don't want to see Biscuit. Okay, like I almost have to fast forward through when Biscuit's on the screen because I'm like, fuck this, I can't do this again. That's the only other
Little
note.
baby.
No, that's really the only other note. I do want to just make a note, and I know that we talked about the music in this show, but I think we talked about more like the soundtrack music.
Yeah.
I really tuned into, and I think because I listened through my headphones, which are, if you're new to the show, I've started watching everything through these noise canceling headphones and I'm hearing so much more. But the score to this show as well, like that anticipation, that building before it was very almost Psycho in the shower-ish to me.
Oh.
When Missy gets ready to cut Ben's leg off, because it was
Okay.
like it was just this build, 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 and then when she draws the little axe or hatchet or whatever it is back, and it's like, it is. I was living for this, so I have to just I just have to put it back out there that this has got an amazing and an intense score as well. So
All of those little sounds and like the
yeah.
howling
Or
and
the owl hooting, like, all of
ooh.
these things. I know. They're not what
And
they
I do
seem.
like how it comes into the present day plot line at certain points too. Like it's not just specifically for 96, but I feel like it's very specific moments that it gets used. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
gorgeous. It's like
It
very
really
haunting.
is. It's
Yeah.
so haunting. Oh, so
Yeah.
haunting. Mm.
Yes.
But
Well,
that
this
I
is
think
very
that's
exciting.
all. Yeah, this is very exciting. Oh god, I'm just so glad because Jay's the one that suggested we do this rewatch. And I mean, immediately I was on board because I was like, this is exactly what I need right now. Like TV wise, like I want to get back into this. I want to try to, like we've talked about, make note of certain things that I was really glossing over the first time around because of obvious plot points that you find out in the finale. So, knowing those things, I'm super excited to take a very different look and look at it through a different lens this time around. So,
Yeah. I've been having so much fun already, and it's only 2 episodes in, so
right. Yeah.
I'm super curious to know if people are rewatching with us because one of the reasons that I did suggest doing it now is because I guess the last thing I'm trying to remember where I read this, but the last thing I heard about basically when we should expect season 2 is that they're really hoping for an early 2023 release
Oh,
date. So,
yay.
we're getting these episodes recorded pretty decently in advance. So I feel like if we get a season 2 drop date and it's before these episodes, like maybe we can like hurry up the release schedule or something so that we're on time.
Yeah,
Because I know we definitely want to cover season 2 in real time. So
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So that's what I was trying to say is I'm really curious to see if people are rewatching with us because season 2 might be coming so soon. So let us know if you're rewatching along or if you have rewatched recently, what you're, seeing differently this time around, what you're enjoying more, all that kind of stuff. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. All right.
Well, okay. If that's all for this time, listen, I've got a goth date with knuckles and muscular calves to call up. Okay.
And I've got to go draw the curtains so the lady in the tree can't stare at me all night.
Ooh. Bye bye.